because I'm starting to have people say to me that they think the Packers are going to the playoffs. And at first, you hear that and you go like, oh, okay, sure. But then you look a little bit more into the weeds here. And in the NFC, the Vikings sit at 6-5. Seahawks sit at 6-5. That's your 6 and 7 seeds. And right behind them, the 8 seed, somehow, after all this time, are Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers at 5-6. And it's almost unbelievable that they've gotten to this point here. But since Gutekunst called out Jordan Love, he's been really good. He's getting better every single week. And, he owned Detroit. That game it ended 29-22, but that game was not close. Jordan Love looked awesome. Packers go in and beat up NFC North leader, what a lot of people are starting to call a conference favorite almost with the Lions, right up there with the Eagles and 49ers. It was a humbling game for Detroit, but Green Bay, their schedule the remainder of the year, they're probably going to lose against Kansas City next week. You have to imagine. But then they got the Giants, the Bucks, the Panthers. They go to Minnesota, and they play the Bears. So you're hoping, if you're a Packer fan, for probably 4-2 there. And I think Seattle, who has Dallas and San Francisco, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, I think that Green Bay's in a better spot to make the playoffs than Seattle right now, which is, again, crazy to think about where we were a few weeks ago. But with this version of Jordan Love, when he's on, there are certain guys. You watch Kenny Pickett play, and you watch a rookie, watch DTR. Like, they don't really have the attributes you say where you're like, okay, they can make all the throws. Jordan Love, when he's on, he's got the stature of, what could be an elite quarterback. He can make all the different arm angles. When he's on, he's awesome. It's just, can we get that consistently? We haven't seen that this year. But if he gets hot at the right time, watch out. We could be looking at a Lambeau wildcard berth. I hope not. I really hope not. But crazy enough that. What do you think right now, Ziggy? You feeling you feeling it in Green Bay?
The most important thing to do in the McVay offensive scheme that LaFleur is running is being able to hit throws over the middle of the field. And Jordan Love has done an excellent job of that recently. During his past 4 games, he's 45 of 59. He's getting 10.2 yards per attempt on those throws. Put that in perspective, Brock Purdy, who's leading the NFL in yards per attempt, is getting 9.5 yards per attempt on his throws. So Jordan Love is doing really well at the critical throws. So if he's figured that out, right, and 4 games is enough of a sample size that I'm willing to start to believe. If he can just figure that out and keep it, then yeah, he can start making the throws the offense needs him to make. He can be accurate. He can deliver the ball where he needs to. And that's going to unlock those deep shots that the Packers have been unsuccessfully taking all season long.
I give Jordan Love a lot of credit because people were coming for his throat over the past month and a half. And, including us, we were very patient, more patient than most people. And finally, I can't remember which game it was where we just sat back and were going, okay, if things don't start to change now, we know he has the season, and we stressed that the entire time. You have to give him the entire season because that's what you signed up for. You know it's his first year starting. There will be ups and downs. There comes a point where you say, all right, now we really have to start paying attention here, and if we don't see progress, we're going to have to make a move. Well, Jordan Love brought that about as close to the line as you can to saying, wow, we're going to have to make a move before flipping the switch. And he's been everything you could have hoped for over the past few weeks here. Hosting Kansas City on Sunday Night Football, I believe it's Sunday Night Football, next week in Green Bay. If they find a way to win that game against a Chiefs team that's been struggling, the tone coming out of Green Bay is going to be very, very different. And then, now you're talking about a team that's going to expect to make the playoffs.
I think that's a little bit too much. It's tough for me to see him.
Oh,
they're not beating Kansas City.
Oh, I doubt it, but
no. But the good thing for the Packers.
Bay?
So yeah, I get that it's possible, but the thing is, at 5-6, they don't have to do this. Realistically, there's only let's say they lose this game, they are still fine for the playoffs for the following reason: they play the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, enough of that.
No, I'm not saying we're going to lose. Here's what I'm saying. Right, games against the Giants and the Panthers and the Buccaneers, you can sort of pencil those in.
Well, no,
in the NFC, yeah, sure. Let's just we can assume they win those, right? If you look the NFC playoff picture, what team are you really worried about as you're sort of on the bubble trying to get that 7 seed? It's the Minnesota Vikings, right? As we've been talking about, right? Like the Seahawks are sort of around there, but they're fading. The Rams and the Saints aren't super interesting. The Cowboys have like that 5 seed locked up. So it's right in that 6-7 spot. You don't get to play the Seahawks, but they do get to play one of those 2 or 3 teams that's in that bubble spot. So the fact that they get to do that, if they can win that game, they're going to the playoffs. If they can't win that game, they won't. That's the game of the season.
I'm expecting Seattle to fade over the next 3 weeks, big time. And then you're going to have a race between the Packers and the Rams for that. I think the Vikings will get in as the 6. And then you're going to have a race for between the Rams and Green Bay for the 7.